So for me, the work actually went back to Michael Brown's shooting in Ferguson. And that was a pivot moment for me. I was a faculty member at the Grad School of Education at Harvard. I was teaching courses in school leadership. And I felt like what the world was one that didn't want to be living in, which is where it was very common for Black and brown people to be killed by a police officer, right? There was a demonstration when the police officer who shot Michael Brown wasn't even indicted. And I remember very vividly this turning point moment in my life where one of the grad students said, who was at the demonstration, said, "What are you going to do?" And at that moment, I pivoted from running a school leadership program at Harvard to developing a project that was focusing on race and equity. It's kind of like when they talk about how the first step around exercise is getting off of the couch. The first step is having clear goals about what we're trying to do and moving into the action. The action takes a long time. My colleague, Dr. Darnisa Amate-Jackson, and we work a lot together, we're talking about 5, 7, 8 years to really do the cultural transformation for a district. That doesn't mean you can't make measurable moves in the early stages. And the framework that we put on is helpful because it lines up the notion about getting clear goals, putting in structures, and developing the partnerships underneath that allow you to actually do the work. It's a great question, and it's a dreaming question. It's a question that I may not live to see. You're a lot younger than I am, and I hope that you do. But, basically, we're really trying to undo hundreds of years of both separation and racism that have contributed to a real disparity in what happens for outcomes for people of color, particularly Black folks. And so this is an opportunity for us to think about how schools can do that. And you can't, as you heard me say as well, you can't talk about doing work around diversity, equity, inclusion without also talking about race and racism. And we do that when we do these workshops.